Like just give us a nudge. 10,000. We're back on our original course. All true representative. I think here.
Now.
Hey, Paul, you're on screen now, Paul. You're muted as far as your voice, so.
Okay, thanks.
Hey.
I'll stay muted.
Yep. Okay. All right. I'll call the meeting to order at 7:07. And Tim, when you join us, just holler up so we'll know you're with us. I hope you can hear us. Let's see, the first order of business is to approve the regular meeting of July 14th, 2020.
I'd move to approve and submitted.
Second.
That's Stu made the motion and Peter seconded it. When you say a motion or seconded, could you just say your name, first name's good enough.
Stu, I move to approve.
Okay, any corrections to the minutes, fellas? I didn't see any, so all in favor as presented?
Aye.
Aye. Okay. Second item of business is we have a citizen with us today, Paul Gone. I talked to him about joining, becoming a member of our board, and he has a form to become a board member. It has to go to the selectmen, and then the selectmen have to take it to a meeting and approve it. So thank you very much for your willingness to participate with us, Paul. And Paul is on the system. His address is 40 Ellen Lane. And so we are pleased to have someone that is on the service, since none of the present members were in the district. So
I'm sorry, would you repeat Paul's last name? And Paul?
G-O-H-N. Gone.
Okay, fine. Paul, you visited us once before, didn't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been to one or two of your meetings.
Yeah, okay. Paul, let me thank you for joining us.
You're welcome.
Can you guys hear me now?
Hey, Tim.
Tim.
Oh, you can't hear me. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yep. Did you hear me introduce Paul, Tim?
Yes.
Okay. Yep. I won't go over it. And Paul, we're a rather very friendly group, so if you have a question and can fit it in diplomatically, feel free to. What we usually do is we have a citizen's comments, as you see on the agenda. I gave Paul a copy of the agenda, and that's usually with the citizens. But since you're going to become a member, if you have a question or anything we're talking about and can fit it in, like I say, diplomatically, have at it. You're welcome.
Thanks.
Next order of business is pump station maintenance. I do have something to report there. Tomorrow morning, I'm meeting with the Putnam pump equipment that Putnam has at the pump station. We're going to lift the one of the pumps up that has a rag around it, and we haven't been able to dislodge it. And the last couple of times we've had the wet well pump, so I thought it was time we lifted it out and unwrapped whatever it is that's caught down there. I was just looking at, I looked at 60 days of running time of the two pumps in the pump station. And one pump was running at 2 hours, approximately 2 hours and 20 minutes a day. And the other pump was only running 7/10 of an hour a day, which 42 minutes, something like that. And I don't know whether this rag down there is restricting that to make that pump run longer, or one pump is a fairly new pump and the other one's an older pump. So maybe it's just becoming worn and doesn't pump as fast.
I'm wondering if
So-
perhaps just the timing of the cycle, if
That could-
the
That could be too. What I've talked to Chaput about the electrician about if there's any, and he'll have to take a look at it before he can tell us whether he can or not. But you're
Now,
right.
is it the older pump? Is it the older pump that's running longer than the newer pump? Do you know?
I really
which one,
can't. I
pump
don't
one and pump
remember.
one?
I don't remember which is the older pump, Tim.
Oh, okay.
One or two.
you should be able to, when you pull this pump tomorrow,
Yeah.
you might get some kind of indication only because of the finish on it or lack
Yeah.
of.
Yeah. Right. If anyone wants to drop down to take a look, Stu or Tim, as long as we don't have a quorum, they're going to be there approximately 9 o'clock. And then from there, we're going up to Line Master. So,
They're going Line Master to pull those two pumps?
yes, sir.
Oh, wonderful. And who is this? This is Putnam WPCA?
Yeah, you know who Mike Blackmeyer is, head of
Okay.
maintenance there. He's back
Okay,
into
great.
the sewer system from the highway department.
Yeah, I know that as soon as Suez boogied and they had to realign, he came back.
Yep. So service calls.
Oh, just a minute. We'll go back to pump maintenance, pump
Okay.
station maintenance.
Yep.
During the power outage, we're constantly monitoring the operation of that. And if you look at, I noticed when we were down there that the oil pressure gauge is not working. And I've notified John Buell of that. And John said he'll follow up, and typically John's timely manner, but basically what he said, guys, got to have oil pressure because if it didn't, it wouldn't be running.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. So it
And
might be just a clogged line or something.
And the other thing is, we've got that outside light, the strobe light that run. I didn't see it on. Roger, you said it
Yes.
is on. So
Yeah, I did see it blinking, but I have questioned whether I could see it from the road during the day. I
Yeah.
doubt it. You know, it was too quick. So maybe that's something we can look at, just get a new strobe light or something that's a little bit more visual.
I think probably just an item. Those two items we ought to keep on the agenda so we stay after them and find out
Yep.
we get them repaired. Both items.
Yep. Cindy will put them down there and keep them on as a pump station item. So, thank you. And okay, Stu, we all set with the pump house? Okay, the second part of that is service calls. You had one service call, right, Stu?
Right. Yeah, over on forgot where it was now, but we got Roger. Anyway, we got Glenn over there, and I guess he got it squared away. Might have been a capacitor.
It was a capacitor, and he noted that there's only a starting capacitor, and he said there was only one left in the Connex. So I gave the number to Cindy, and she was going to look into ordering a half dozen.
Good. Were you able to do that, Cindy?
Hi, Stu. I will
Hi.
be doing that tomorrow when I'm in the office.
Oh, okay. Just if you have any problem locating them, we've been getting them from Pila.
Yes, I found that file. Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. So thank you, Cindy. Cindy's been a busy woman this last couple of. She's the grandmother of a second grandchild, so just last
Oh,
week. And the first grandchild isn't too much older than the second one, so they're busy.
good for you, Cindy.
Thank you.
Let's see. So that's the only thing I have, and Glenn went out, took care of it, and then just sent me a message saying that I was that we only had one starting capacitor left. So we will get on that in order that get that out of the way. Old business is the authority to fill the vacancy. We'll fill it as soon as the selectmen appoint Mr. Gomes, Paul to the Paul to our system. So, and I'll talk to I'll stop in the town hall just tomorrow or so to let them know it's coming. I think I mentioned it to Cindy at the beginning of before everyone joined us, that Paul was going to be turning in an application to join the board. So,
Good.
status of actions for annual grinder pump. Oh, okay. I met with Mr. Chaput with the list of items, all except for the bulb changes. I didn't want to be paying for the bulb, so there was a half dozen bulbs, and I think the fella that was doing the inspections, I have a hard time remembering his name.
Bruce Williams.
Yeah,
Bruce Williams.
yeah, right. Yeah, for some reason I draw a blank. That's my middle name. You'd think I'd remember it, huh? So he left a half a dozen bulbs for us, I believe, and so I replaced. Let's see, 1, 2, 3 of them. That was the only problem with those on the list. And I met personally with Chaput and went down the list with him. And so I should have checked with him. I was intending to check with him before our meeting to get an update, but I don't. So I will do that as soon as we this week. Give him a call. The update of the metering system at Woodstock Academy. Cindy sent a very nice letter to the headmaster, and I think the headmaster's answer was in your packets, I believe, right?
Yep.
Yes.
And he says that it was due to sewer assessment increase of 8,234. It's not a sewer assessment. He got that wrong. It's a sewer operating expense for the academy. And so, and the way I figure it, he's talking about an increase from last year to this year, which was the increase was really $9,245.52 is the way I look at it. From looking at the two bills that Linda sent out last year and this year. And that was due to like a 900,000 gallon increase in the amount of water they were using. So it wasn't unusual to have such a high price. This year, of course, everything's going to be a little bit different.
Bottom line is that they're not going to go ahead with the remetering.
Right. They said in the letter that they're not going to continue. And I would like, as long as with your approval, not trying to be sarcastic or anything, but have Cindy write a very nice letter thanking them for their response and just correcting them and that it is not a sewer assessment. It is a sewer operating expense? Would that
Sewer
be all
use,
right?
sewer use fee.
Pardon? What did you say, Stu?
I said, sewer use fee.
Yeah, sewer use fee, right.
Increase in the sewer use fee.
So if it's all right with you guys, we'll send them a nice letter thanking them for their response.
Sounds good.
Okay,
And
thank
my,
you.
hey Cindy, I know you'll do it probably because you are proper, but as you know, he said, I love it. Please stay safe, and my door is always open to you if you have any questions. We could always tell him that please stay safe and please we leave the valves open for him.
Okay, I'll think about that too.
Okay. So that's okay. That's the Woodstock Academy. System maintenance update, grinder pump repair and maintenance. Tomorrow we'll be pulling those two pumps, and I'll probably take them down to the town garage and have them wash them off first, and then I'll probably take them to the Connex containers.
Okay, if I could jump in here, Roger.
Yep. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
I spoke with Pila right after our last meeting, and they have had two of our grinder pumps down there for rebuild, and the bottom line is that it was not feasible to rebuild them. And so I took it on my authority to say, okay, junk them, and that I think with that, and they say yes, we'll be more than happy. There's no charge for them opening these things up to investigate to see if it's feasible. Because I asked them, I said, hey, do we owe you some money for your investigation? Nope, not at all. I think what we need to do is consider perhaps getting that big pump and the two other grinder pumps that we have in the Connex box down to them to see if they are possibly a rebuild. I know the big one ought to be a rebuild.
Yeah. I would, if we're going to get them up here, you're not going to lug that big one down there, Stu.
No. Matter of fact, if in fact we want to do that, I think they'll send a truck up to pick up the big one.
Yep, right. So I'd have somebody make a motion that we send two regular family-sized pumps down and one from the main pumping station down for rebuild.
So moved.
Well, what about those two that you're pulling out from Line Master tomorrow? Do you want to just send those down as well?
Well, let's not go overboard. Let's see what we'll send two down, and then we'll eventually get the other two down. Okay.
Well, okay. I've got. I think I probably agree with Tim. If we get those pulled out, we send them down there for rebuild. We've been rebuilding them for anywhere from $600 to $800, I think, the ones that we could. I've got a follow-up on some new grinder pump costs, which I'll get into after we decide this avenue of investigation. But God, if we ended up with 4 grinder pumps for $2,400 or 4 grinder pumps for $3,200, $800 a piece, we'd be in good shape.
Yeah, that would be real good. Give us a real comfortable feeling, I think, if something goes wrong, and they're all getting old out there. You know, it's over 20 years that they've been down there, so we can expect them to start to wear out.
I'm just thinking that we're going to experience more failure from grinder pumps, as you just pointed out, Roger, and that we probably need a better inventory for replacement.
Yeah,
Well, not only that, but if you went 2 for 2 bad ones down there, you might as well send 4 down and hope you get 2 back that are good. And if we get 4 back that are good, that's just a bonus.
Yep.
okay,
And we know we want to get that big one back.
yes. I
Yeah,
think that was our
sure.
thought at the time we pulled it out, is to get it down there, so. Stu, would you want to, did we make a motion that we send 2 down? Let's change that to 4. Is
I-
everyone in agreement?
I did.
All right. Yeah, I'll make a motion that we send 4 down plus the big one.
Okay. And,
Stu
second,
will second that if nobody has.
pardon?
I said Stuart will second that motion if nobody has.
Okay, thank you. Any other conversation on that? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Aye.
okay.
Okay, we get back to Crystal. You keep popping up on my screen. Is that because I'm talking to you? Not your picture, but just your name.
Oh, I don't know why it does that.
Oh, okay, good. I feel better. I don't know either. Hey, anyway, I was trying to get a hold of Bruce Williams, and I did not try real hard, but I was not successful. But what I did do was I got on the internet and I'm looking around for grinder pumps. And so I found this operation down in New Jersey, Farmingdale, New Jersey. And they have priced us at $1,567.50 a piece for a 2 horsepower, 240 volt, single phase, 3450 RPM, inch and a quarter grinder pump. It's the same thing that we've got. And that is the pump that our friends from Williams, or Water and Waste and all that, we're looking for. What do we say in the minutes? 2,400?
Yeah, yours.
So anyway, I got a quote from them, and I also got a quote for them on control panels. The that wall-mounted control panel for a single grinder pump, a simplex, $1,350.40 a piece, and a wall-mounted control panel for a duplex unit at $2,160. I
Would
just
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Stu.
Go ahead, Roger.
No, I said go, continue.
Yeah, okay. What I thought I'd do is, Cindy, I'll drop this off at the town hall so you can put it in in our file and have it. I know I'm going to hear back from him. How many you want? How many you want? How many you want? And I'm not suggesting we buy any, but I bring that up to let you know that if we get an inventory on hand, and as our grinder pump inventory depletes, we can go online and probably find some at a much better price without having to worry about putting out a fire because Paul is over there and doesn't have a grinder pump.
Yeah. Right. Well, even if we can get at least a couple rebuilt at a reasonable price. That would be...
when I was talking,
Go ahead, Tim.
when I was talking to Bill Chaput, he said that these control boxes are starting to go bad, and it's hard to get parts for them. Now, these control boxes that Stu was talking about, are those possible to use with the old pumps?
I think they probably are, but I would not buy one today to look for a replacement. I think that we probably need to do our research and look and see, okay, will they work or won't they work? Because your point's well taken, Tim. We probably should have a control box in there. If somebody gets struck by lightning,
We have a brand new control box in the Connex container.
We do.
Yes.
Good.
And I have a picture. I took a picture of it and can send it out. That's how I was figuring out how many parts. There aren't that many parts in there, and so Cindy is also going to be sending Bill Chaput. I'll just ask him to itemize the parts so we know what to keep on hand and what kind of parts he replaced in the two boxes he worked on, because he charged $500 for material.
Yeah.
And so she's going to send him a nice letter and just ask him to itemize the parts he replaced so we could have stuff available.
Well,
All right.
when he orders, he orders extra parts. So he has extra parts on hand right now. That's what he told me. He says instead of just getting one, I'm getting 3 or 4 or whatever.
Yeah, he didn't mention that to me. He pointed to, I met him down at the garage, and he pointed to a box that was about 2 feet square and about maybe 8 inches high. And he says, all the stuff is up there in that box and the guys know where to go to find it. But he didn't say anything about having, extra parts. So that's why I've been talking like I am. That's good to hear if he has been. So.
Well, it makes sense. I mean, he's a good businessman. So,
Yeah.
when it comes time to order something, you get a few backup pieces because he knows these things are going bad and
Yeah.
the parts are getting harder to get.
Right. So,
Or that's the way he explained it to me.
yeah. Well, I'll see if I want to catch up with him to see about how he's progressing on the list of items in the wet wells that need replacing, and I'll ask him about that if he has what he has on hand, so that we can at least know if we'll be stopped or if he can get his hands on them.
Yeah.
That's good to know.
Because for him to if he can rebuild a box for $600 and it lasts for a long time, I mean, it certainly makes sense to do that rather than spending $1,500 bucks on a new one.
Yeah, the boxes themselves, there's a couple that the seals are worn, but if you look at Bruce Williams's report on all the boxes, there aren't too many that are corroded. That he's reporting water damage in the boxes themselves. So,
Right.
but the key, you're going to bring that, give that information to Cindy so we can.
I will, and I'll in turn follow up with Peeler and see what kind of arrangements we in preparation for picking up the big pump.
Okay, yeah, and if they're going to pick up the big pump, you might as
Maybe
well.
pick up 4 more, huh?
Yep. So, did we vote on the item to send 5 pumps total to Peelers?
I don't think so.
Okay, all in
I don't
favor?
think we voted on it.
You did.
All right,
You did vote.
we did?
Oh, we did?
Okay,
Oh.
Tim,
Thank you.
Tim made the motion. Stu seconded the motion.
okay, and we did, and we changed that to 4 pumps, right, Cindy? 4,
Yes, 4 pumps
Yep.
and then the large pump.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any more update on pumps? Stu, thanks for all that information. Tim, thanks for the information on what might be available.
Not from me.
Okay, everyone all set? We'll go on to the next item, flow reports. What's that, the flow?
Sound like a blender.
Yeah. Wow, it's a shredder. It's a shredder.
Oh, okay, all right. You're not mad and you didn't shred up all your material there, did you?
I tell you what, no. But Tim gave me an idea in a blender.
Okay,
Hi,
on the,
it's Cindy here. Roger,
yes,
can I say one quick thing?
sure.
Okay. on the weekly flows to Putnam that you are starting, I
Yep.
do have 2 figures if you're interested in them for August 17 and 24. It's been taking a little bit to get the numbers from Putnam, but when I prompt them, they do send it. So if you want
Yes.
those, just let me know and I can read them off.
Okay, as, you want them read off, or we'll just, she can, send them to, give them to me and I'll, get them out to you guys, or,
If you got them right there, let's read them off, and then they'll be included next month.
okay, go ahead,
Sure.
Cindy.
So what's left is August 17, the flow was 310,200. And
310.
August 20, yep, 310,200.
Okay,
August 24, 325,000.
325 even,
325 even.
okay. Cindy, the reason you're having trouble, because Stan Daniels had a hip operation down there, and he's the one that, that does all that, desk work. So he's
Oh,
gonna
okay.
be
I've
out.
been speaking with Francis, but he's good. When I ask him for the numbers, he
Right.
sends them along.
So he apologized for being late, but he says that he'll get them to you eventually. But I would just keep as you're doing when a week goes by or 2, and then you give him a call and he'll get them up to you.
Yes, I'll continue to do that. Thanks.
So, and we appreciate you staying after him down there. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Say, okay, as you see, the flows are down quite a bit. We're running in the low 300s per week. And that's due from, I imagine, heck, we have 4 school buildings that are not operating, and their flows are going to be down considerably. Roxbury Village might be
Yeah,
up a
and
little bit.
the rain flows down some too.
Yes, yeah. Yeah, that has a little bit to do with it, though. Well, when we were reading high there, couldn't correlate that really. So, any questions on the flows?
No.
No.
And the rainfall data, that comes from a different office, and I think she's getting those regularly. And Cindy may have to call to get those, I'm not sure. But they're usually very congenial in that office and get back to us. The quarterly flows, as you see, I have everything on there, but the elementary school, and I haven't chased, I have Mr. Musamichi. Brian Musamichi is the one that lets me into the building to get the flows, and he got me into the middle school and was supposed to send me to the elementary school readings, but I didn't get them, whether I had a problem with my phone or whether he didn't, and I just haven't got back to him on the elementary school. But if I don't get them by next week, I'll get the next quarter, because I'll be taking the readings in the first quarter of, the first week of October. Any more questions on any of those?
No.
Not hearing any, we'll go on to payment of the bills. On that list of bills, there is one more item on there for lawn care for $80. and Tim, I believe that's probably for 2 times.
Yeah. Yep.
So add
Yeah, he's been
$80.
cutting it and hauling it off. So yeah.
Yeah. So,
Yep.
so that'll make the total amount of bills, $2,890.11. So, any questions?
Stuart would move to approve the bills that submitted with the addition of $80 for lawn care.
Second. Peter.
Okay, any more questions? All in favor?
Aye.
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 Aye. Okay, sounds unanimous. The only correspondence, I believe, Cindy, was the letter from the academy.
Want to go over the treasurer's report?
So I'm sorry, it went right by you, and yes. I don't know whether anyone had a chance to,
But this
print it out.
is the treasurer's report for the end of the fiscal year 2019-2020. And basically, we had a balance left of our expenditures of $46,289.86, which goes back into the general fund. And then if you want to know the final, what the fund balance is, it's on page 9 of 9. The fund balance as of 6/30 on 2020 is $217,268.07, which is not a audited final figure for the year, but will be once the auditors are finished, and any adjustments as the auditors request will be made.
Peter, does that 217 and change include the return of the monies not spent for our
Yes.
1920?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Everything goes into one account, Stu, and then they just keep drawing.
Yeah, I understand that. I wanted to know whether the
Oh.
overage had been.
Yeah, that figure includes the 46,000.
Yeah, and
Thank you.
the money really doesn't come out of it until we spend it on something. So that's why I always picture it as staying up there until it drains out at our request. Any other questions on Peter's budget?
No, Peter, once again, thank you. You've made that, you just made that really transparent for all of us. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, good sir.
Okay, let's see, where are we now sorry about that, Peter. I didn't mean to jump over your.
Oh, it's all right. It's all right. I'll keep you on track.
Okay, so on correspondence, Cindy, I didn't, the only letter we had, I believe, was the one from the academy.
Yes, you're correct.
Okay, thank you. So the only follow-up, thank you, Cindy. The only follow-up is you're going to talk to Peerless, Stu, and see if they can come up and pick up.
Yes, I will.
Okay. And
I do have a question before we sign off, so let me know.
Yeah. Just before we get to that, when you call them, Stu, if you need someone to meet them at the Connex and you're not available, give a holler.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
And I've been wandering around with extra keys in my truck, but I'm going to give them to Cindy, so they'll be in the I always have a key in my truck, but keys to both a couple other buildings that we have, like the pump house at Roxbury Village and the pump house at the academy, at the fairgrounds. I have all these keys extra, and I'll get them to Cindy, so if anyone's ever looking for a key, they should be all there. Okay, Stu, you said you had another question?
Yeah, I just, and this is because I love Zoom so well, so much. I think that if I'm not wrong, the executive order allows us to have meetings of what, 25 people and fewer?
Yeah. Oh, you mean, the new,
Well, I think we can. Can't we get together with a group of 25 or less legally?
Crystal would probably have the answer to that, I think. I'm not sure.
Okay, well, I'm just wondering at what point, if I'm wrong, if I'm incorrect, then that answers itself. But if it's correct, I wonder at what point we can start meeting face to face.
We ought to be able to, even in a smaller conference room, to have desk set around so we could meet ourselves. There would be 5 board members and and Cindy. So
Right.
we'll look into it for the
I
next
can,
meeting, Stu. How's that?
Well, Cindy, did you have?
yes, I just had one comment. I will ask Crystal about that tomorrow, but I have a feeling that even though 25 or fewer, although we don't get a lot of citizens to our meetings, I think that maybe that executive order is, you have to keep with Zoom because there might be more participants and then they wouldn't be able to be part of the hearing. So for instance, like planning and zoning, when they have their meetings, there's, so many people on that they have to hold it by Zoom so multiple people can participate. Does
Yeah,
that make sense?
we we'd never know how many were going to get there. And then even though there's only 6 of us, it might be some person that would want to come, but they don't want to show up in a crowd.
Yeah, I'm thinking that's the Zoom is the safe haven for the public to participate.
Mhm. Yeah.
All right. Well, then
But
just
I will,
But
just forget it. No, until we get. Don't worry about it. There's no sense for us to be different. Riding on the left side of the road when everybody else is on the right.
we'll just check. It won't hurt anything, Stu. We'll just check into it anyways, let you know.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay?
I'm
Anything
happy.
else to come before the board? Any other questions?
I'd
I'll
move
keep,
to adjourn.
okay, I'll
I
keep
would
you.
like.
Go
Well,
ahead.
I have one comment.
Yep.
Now, since let me try to get this thing back up again. Why is this not coming up? Oh, there it is. Now, with Paul, being new to the group,
Yeah.
and seeing the treasurer's report with that balance in there,
Yep.
I think we need to explain the fact that we were running a deficit for a lot of years, and we're trying to get our maintenance fund essentially back where it should be if we hadn't been running the deficit for all those years.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm
Because
when
it just seems a little odd that you're running a $30,000 or however many $1,000 balance carried forward
yeah.
out of all that.
Right.
For somebody who doesn't know that, that we were running in the red for a long, long time.
Once we get all Paul's information and he gets on the board, we can get together. Peter and I can get together with him and bring him up to date on the finances and how we come up with our budget and all that. Because we're not just
The other thing that makes
leave them in the dark.
the other thing that makes the 46,000 a little bit larger than we were used to having is because the nature of our expenses has changed. And for example, we don't spend as much money on part-time help as we used to. So that has cut that line item down in terms of how much we've we've allocated for that item. I think the thing that to do for us to do is to take this 2019-2020 report, final report for the fiscal year, and use it as a basis for our budget planning for next year.
Right.
So take a look at each line item and make a judgment as to whether we want to increase the line item or decrease the line item.
Yeah.
That way
And-
we have less of an extra amount that everybody's talking about.
Yeah. It also goes on the way our policy and procedure manual says that the money we collected from sewer assessment fees, and we're getting down to, but that's only supposed to be used on mainline maintenance. And so that figure that we have left over, like once you take our full budget out of that 217,000, you've got very little left over, and we should have a little bit of a cushion there that we have a major emergency, and we've got money to cover it.
The other thing is with as the things proceed with our current society, we and the nature of economics, we don't really know if we're going to run into some problems in terms of people being able to pay the sewer assessment fee. We really will need to watch the revenue coming in now and the end of this fiscal year.
Yeah.
That'll be a figure to pay attention to.
We don't want to scare Paul off and without too much of stuff until he gets on the board, then we can sit down and talk to him.
It would be rather unusual if we lowered our our user fee. It'd be rather unusual if we turn around, instead of raising it, we lower it.
Well, we're going to end up with a few problems, I think, with Crabtree and Evelyn not using all the water that they were using and paying for it. This new company that's in there isn't going to be using anywhere near as much. And then, of course, with the coronavirus in the schools, especially, the academy, not operating at peak capacity, they're not going to be spending as much money on water either. So, yeah, we'll definitely have to watch it.
Yeah.
It'll all balance out.
Yeah.
At least we're in good financial shape right now. So I think that's the thing we ought to pat ourselves on the back with. And we got plenty of info to use when we do our budget next spring.
Right.
Stuart here. I was wondering, Cindy, could you put a note, and perhaps when we come up to our 6-month point in our present budget, that you could give us as far as flows, total flows to that point in time to Putnam, as opposed to the flow from the previous year, fiscal year.
Yeah,
Yes,
I'll be taking the flows from the 10 metered customers, and then the other ones we just have to do a guesstimate with, Stu. The only ones we have a control over looking at their figures are the 10 metered customers.
True, and we just take, you take 50% of that. I'm just thinking that, and maybe it's not worthwhile, but I was just thinking that it would be a tool for us to look at when we start to build the budget for our upcoming fiscal year, that we look at sewer usage, which is what, 70% of our budget.
Yes. Yeah. Right.
All right.
Cindy and I'll get together and come up with a figure probably for the next meeting, because like I say, in the 1st of October, I'll be reading the 10 metered customers. Okay, and then we'll go from there. We can figure in the half year on the fixed figures. customers, okay?
Well, that brings up the point of when it would be worthwhile having our first report on this fiscal year's expenditures. Maybe not this time, but maybe wait until December or January to have a treasurer's report, or do you guys want one every month like you've been receiving?
I don't know. Would you?
I think
when do
quarterly
you-
is good.
Well, I can have it anytime you want it. It doesn't take that much to put together. But the next one, basically for this fiscal year, we've only spent $2,810 for this fiscal year.
Yeah.
So far for this new fiscal year. So we really we won't have a amount we sent a bill to Putnam until let's see, that's July, August, September, until October. The October's report that you get the
Yeah.
usage fee.
We'll be able to come up with something for the end of October, for our meeting, the end of October.
Yeah.
For our talking point anyway, so.
So we'll make the next one the October meeting.
Yep,
Okay, very good. Thank you.
okay.
Yep.
Everyone else set? Stu, Tim?
I'm all set.
Yep.
Any questions, Paul?
Nope, I'm good. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for
You're still
joining
with
us.
Paul. Once again, thanks, Paul.
No problem.
Can we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved. Stuart.
Seconded.
Okay, Peter. All in favor?
All right.
All right.
Let's go home.
Well,